Washington's football team benched Dwayne Haskins this week, deciding it would rather start Kyle Allen, or maybe even what's left of Alex Smith at quarterback, rather than last year's first-round pick. This is the kind of thing that happens when there's been a regime change within a team, and none of the folks in charge wish to be responsible for someone else's decision. But here's the biggest reason Rivera benched Haskins. He wanted to. That's not to say this decision was indefensible. Haskins has looked pedestrian at best in his 13 starts. His total QBR ranks last out of 32 qualified quarterbacks, and he's been inaccurate deep. But as Stephen Ruiz of USA Today has pointed out, there are advanced stats like expected points to indicate Haskins has outplayed Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, neither of whom has been benched for performance. If someone wanted to bench those two, they could. Statistically, Darnold's been no better than Geno Smith was for the Jets. Jones has fumbled and been intercepted a combined 38 times in 17 games. But that's not the lens their bosses or the media who cover them wish to view those players through. Haskins hasn't had the benefit of the doubt his peers have. It's about what he can't do rather than what he can, even when his replacement, Allen, was worse than him when he played in Carolina for Ron Rivera. Hopefully he'll get another shot, but that'll only happen if Rivera wants to give him one, something he's shown isn't important to him now.
With the NFL making schedule adjustments on the fly, here's your reminder that the league did this to itself. The same league that didn't alter the timing of free agency or the draft again chose the path of plowing forward without enough consideration to COVID-19. That strategy has created a situation where rescheduling games could become impossible. They could have scheduled league-wide bye weeks to give wiggle room for postponements and cancellations without creating chaos. Instead, there is now a very real scenario where a team like the Titans plays fewer games than the rest of their division and conference. Then, the playoffs would be based on win percentage, regardless of which games were missed, the impact on strength of schedule, or the possibility of extra rest for teams in the midst of an injury-plagued season. Roger Goodell and the NFL have zero interest in being proactive. Being reactive, even when it hurts their product and, more importantly, their fans, might be the least surprising thing we've seen in a shocking 2020.
In a time when negativity is the norm, good news is always good for the soul. Following their semifinals loss to the Los Angeles Lakers, all the talk around the Houston Rockets centered on the franchise's next steps. Part of that included superstar point guard Russell Westbrook. While Westbrook's style of play is ever polarizing, it'll never equate to his character. Per the Dallas Morning News, the 2016-17 MVP left an $8,000 tip to housekeepers at the Grand Floridian Hotel, and he left the room, quote-unquote, virtually spotless. They took great care of us, the 9-time All-Star told Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks. Took the time and energy to do their job at a high level. That was the right thing. I like to do the right thing. The gesture isn't the least bit surprising coming from one of the NBA's most visible humanitarians. He's a past winner of the league's Community Assist Award. His Why Not Foundation and Honoring the Gift clothing line is rooted in the spirit of giving. And he's producing a docuseries on the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. There's a lot of things to be mad at in the world these days, and deservedly so. Russell Westbrook's generosity, however, isn't one of them.
Here we go again with the Lakers poised to win the title. That deathless debate is back. MJ versus LeBron. This is what we live for in sports, these impossible contests of opinion that can never be settled like the games themselves, with an actual final score. Guess what? I refuse to participate in this war of words and numbers. You know why? Because I reject its premise, which presupposes that either MJ or LeBron is the greatest. How's this for a resume? 7 scoring titles, 11 rebounding titles, an assist title to boot. How about leading to the NBA championship not one, but 2 teams that at the time had won the most games ever? In one of those seasons, this player averaged 24 points, 24 rebounds, and 8 assists per game while shooting 68% from the field. Who was this Superman? Wilt Chamberlain, of course. He was the consensus greatest player ever when I was a kid, but sadly, he's not around to promote himself in this day and age. Yes, the competition is much better now than it was in Wilt's heyday. Of course, just as LeBron's contemporaries will be surpassed by those playing 20 years from now. That's sports. There are literally thousands of sprinters who've run faster 100s than Jesse Owens. That doesn't make them greater. So please, when we have the basketball GOAT discussion, show some respect for history and for the Big Dipper, Wilton Norman Chamberlain.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.